Good day, comic fam, Comics of the Voice. I'm going to go through the 4 measly things that I picked up at the Whitby Comic Con. So, stay tuned. Alright, comic fam, this is a twofer today. First I was at Captive Audience Comics show, and now today, on the same day, is also the Whitby Comic Con. Got a sign right there. Okay. The Jurassic Park truck. Oh, they got wrestling today too. Cool. So, we're going to go see if we can find some more books in here. Stay tuned. Hey, comic fam. So, Whitby Comic Con. There was a twofer that I did. I went to Captive Audience Comics Mini Con in Oshawa, and then I drove over to the Whitby Comic Con and didn't find a whole lot. But the things that I did find were really, really neat. So I had to do a little bit of research on these suckers, because I remember seeing these in the 80s and I never really picked them up because I didn't want to pay, this is from 1975. It's the Comic Reader number 123. A little bit of history here. So the Comic Reader, I'm reading from Wikipedia. So from 1961 to 1984, this comic news fanzine is what they call it, was published. Let's see, TCR was the first regularly published comic industry news fanzine and was able to secure many contacts from within the ranks of larger publishers. As TCR increased in popularity and influence, it was able to attract professional artists to illustrate the covers. TCR also proved to be a launching pad for aspiring comic book creators, many of whom published work in the fanzine as amateurs. So, pretty interesting. So, so from 61 to right into the 80s. So it was founded in 61 as On the Drawing Board by Jerry Bales, the father of comics fandom, changing its name to the Comic Reader in 1962 and being named the official bulletin of the Academy of Comics, comic book fans and collectors. During its run, TCR won a number of industry awards, including the Alley Award and the Goth Award Comic Fan Art Awards. In its last incarnation, published by Street Enterprises, it was more professional magazine than fanzine, and was known as the TV guide in the comic industry. So I only picked up 3, and they were $5 a piece from this vendor. I'd seen them before from the same guy, but I didn't pick them up the last time, but he dropped the prices now. This one here is the Comic Reader from 1977. It's 144, and it has the Creeper on the cover, which is pretty neat. And then the last one I have is from 1977, number 151, and it is a Superman. This one's done by Jim Starlin. So there we go, as an example of some up and coming. Now the last thing that I picked up, I'm actually going to open it up and take it out of here. I'll show you guys first. Many of you probably know, or maybe you don't know, Will Eisner. The man is a legend in the comic book industry. Was born in 1917, somewhere around there. Died in 2005, I think it was. During the 40s in the war, he actually made pretty good money even during the Depression, doing comic books. And he did this one that's called The Spirit. And the newspaper, I guess this is the Baltimore, it's the Sun, the Sunday Sun, wanted him to do like a comic book insert into their newspaper. So this is a reprint from 1973 of the Sunday, September 15th, 1940 edition of Spirit, which is this character that they wanted him to create. And it's like a kind of like a superhero thing. So it's a dude with a mask, and it's very controversial and racist because he's got this little black sidekick, and the way that they did black people back then was just not good. Now, in 72, when they were doing reprints of this stuff, he would write little blurbs in the back there. So this one was interesting. So I picked this up because, you know, I'm a Will Eisner fan. I like his the work that he's done. So this one's called, it says All Out Comedy, September 15th, 1940. This was my first real attempt at an out and out comedy. It was also a chance to develop Ebony as a real human. So that's the sidekick there, this guy. Remember, I was still living in a world of Amos and Andy, but I was struggling with an idea that kept running around in my conscious like a piece of quicksilver that cannot quite be picked up by hand. No one really, in big-time comics, devoted much time to a black man as a human alone. Oh yes, Ham Fisher did give Joe Palooka's black trainer plenty of space, but no character effort. In retrospect, I'm embarrassed by what I frankly regard as a cop-out. That yes-a-boss bit made me cringe to look at again. I realize now that what started out as a courageous effort simply disintegrated in face of what would have been a literary protest. I was still pretty glad for the chance at the big time, and I was not strong enough to challenge the establishment. But I thought of it. Cringe. Will Eisner. So he wanted to fight out against the establishment at the time, but he just didn't do it. You know, because he's trying to make money, and that's the way the big industry was back then. But pretty neat little book. So inside, it's not even stapled together, is what I would assume is the comic strip or the little mini comic book that was in the newspaper back in 1940. So, interesting piece of history here. So, pretty cool stuff. It's just a few little pages, but I thought it was a neat thing to pick up because, as you know, a lot of you know, there's the Will Eisner, the Eisner Awards, they call it, you know, for people in the comic book industry. And the Eisner Awards have been around for a long time. I think they were called the Kirby. It was Kirby before. So those are my meager little finds at the Whitby Comic Con. Not a big deal, and I'll show you guys the footage from the con. I hope you guys enjoyed this neat little things that I picked up between this and the comic reader. I thought they were cool. You know, walking around in there, I was reading I was flipping through some books and stuff, and everything was overpriced. So I settled on these. So I think it was $20 for the 4 of them. Yeah, $5 a piece. So nice little find. Hope you guys enjoyed. Bleep blop bloop down in the comments what you think about all this stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Alright, so this is the Whitby Comic Con. Actually not a bad size. A lot of books here. I'm going to be digging for a while here, I think. Let's see what we got. Oh, Dan Day. Dan Day's here again. A few comics up there. Let's go.
No, like days ago.
A bit of comics. Toys. More books. Okay. Let's start digging.